Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. This is Raju Upadhyay from CIMAGE College, Patna, Department of IT. Today, I'll be talking about feature of tables in Advanced Excel, how you can create a table and how you can work with the tables. So let us see the concept of table practically. So I'm switching over to the practical terminal. So everyone just see, I have a small worksheet which has the product details where we are having a 10 products having their name and the sales of the product in the month of January, February, and March. So I want to turn this particular content as a table. So if you wanted to convert this entire data in term of tables, so you can place your cursor anywhere inside this particular area. And then directly you can go for a table by using a shortcut key called Control T. If you press the Control T here, automatically it is going to ask you to create a table, and for this it is going to show you the selected range. So automatically your advanced Excel is going to select your given range. So this is the range from A1 to E11. So we are agree with this particular range. The moment you click on OK, automatically you'll see some sort of formatting and designing has happened here. You can notice out here, automatically your filter selection button is enabled. Apart from that, all alternate rows are being colored. So if you wanted to know anything about the table, so for that we are having out here one design option. So the contextual tab table is getting created, and within this design will be available. So that will be available once you select the table. If you click anywhere else, if you click away from the table, so the design option is not there. The moment you click back on a table, you get the design tab within table toolbar. So this is called contextual menu. Contextual menu. So if you click on design, you can notice out here you have the header row. As a header row, we are having a product ID, product name, and the month names. Then we are having a filter button. So along with every column, you are able to see the filter buttons. Then every row has been colored. So these three features are enabled at the beginning just because this all has been ticked. So if you don't want to see your header row, if you untick it, all header row is getting off. If you click back header row, so header is there. If you don't want to have the filter, you can unselect it. So filter row, filter button has been off. Again, I can get it back. Now this is the band row. If you go for the band row, if you untick it, so you are getting your entire content of this particular table in a normal way. So we can go for the band row. If you wanted to highlight the very first column in this particular table, you can select the first column. See, all the first column got highlighted. If you wanted to highlight your last column, you can click on last column. This is going to be highlighted. If you want to make your column colorful, you can go for band column. So alternate columns are also getting colored. Now, either we can have the band row or we can have the band column. Let band row has to be there. So I'm going to remove this band column. Now in this particular table, the very interesting feature is you can go for a total row. The moment you select that total row, automatically one new row will be introduced here at the end. And you can notice we are getting the total amount of March. So this whole thing got calculated, that is getting sum, and the sum value is available out here. You can verify, you can notice on my status bar, the value of sum on the status bar is matching with the total which we have got through the total of table. Now, if you wanted to change their formula, So instead of total, I wanted to have something else. So I can click on this particular drop down list and we can find out the max. You can find out the mean. You can find out the average. So like that, you can change the, if you want to have more functions, you can click on the more function. And from here, you can apply any one of the function. So from here, you can select all kind of functions. So all functions are available to you, which can be applied on such kind of column. So let it be like total. Now, if you wanted to know the total of February, total of January, or maximum of February and minimum of January, that too can be done. So what you have to do is you have to click on February column. The moment you click, again we are getting this drop down list. We can select it, and from here I wanted to find out the maximum value out of the range of value. So the maximum value has been tracked out. If you select here, if you wanted to find the average value, you can select it here and can select the average. So you are getting the average. But you can notice out here product name cannot be summed. It cannot find the average or minimum or maximum. So for this particular column, only required the value could be, it can have count. We cannot go for the count number since there is no number. So we are getting a 0. If you wanted to count the number of cells, so we can have a function called count. So it is going to return, there are 10 cells are there in this particular column. So we are getting a 10. Now, apart from that, again, if you go for table and within a design, you can have so many other things. You can change the name of a table. So since the table got created, so we can have a different name to the table. So whatever table name you wanted to give, you can give it here. Apart from that, you can go for remove duplicates. So let's say I'm going to give you the demo of duplicates. So let's say I'm going to create a new row here. And I'm going to, intentionally, I'm going to copy these 3 rows and I'm going to test it in this newly created row. So you can notice out here. So we can say that we are having 3 records which are duplicated in this particular table, because in the last 3 rows I have copied twice. So if you wanted to remove all duplicates, so what we can do is we can go to design and there is an option called remove duplicates. You can click on this and it is going to ask for removing a duplicate for all columns. Yes. If I click on OK, so automatically you can notice out here, it is saying that 3 duplicate rows values was found and removed and 10 unique value remains same. So you must have remembered that I had copied 3 rows into this. So resultant 3 rows was duplicate. So those 3 row was identified and that got deleted from here. Apart from that, again, we can go for design. And here we can have a slicer. That means if you wanted to select the selected set of value, so you can apply a slicer out here. You can click on slicer. So you wanted to have the slicer on what column, that you can mention out here. So in this particular slicer, we can have product ID or product name or January or February or March. So let's say I wanted to have implement the slicer on the basis of product name. So I can click on this and I say OK. Automatically you'll get the slicer button out here. Now, what are the things you wanted to see on the screen? So I don't want to see capacitor, or I wanted to see capacitor, as well as I wanted to see the C pin plug and 3 pin plug and 200-watt electric meter. So I have selected only these 3. So selected items are available out here. If you wanted to select all, so you can select everything. So likewise, you can have the selected data as per slicer mentioned. You can have a slicer on multiple column as well, right? So let's say this is the one slicer for product name. So if you wanted to filter the records based on the product name, you can have like this. We may introduce one more slicer. So what I can do is I can select table again in order to get the table design, and I can go for another slicer. So I'm going to introduce a slicer on the based on the product ID. Clear? So I'll select this product ID and I'll say okay. So these product IDs are there. So now I wanted to filter again based on this data. So I wanted to see out of all, the first slicer was applied on the basis of product name. The second slicer is the slicer condition is applied on product P001, product P00, P1002, and another is P1004. So in this way, you can apply the slicer. If you don't want to have the slicer, you can cancel this. And if you want to cancel this also, so here is the icon where you can clean the filter. So all data are available, right? And apart from that, we are going to see the another interesting feature out here. If you again select the table, go for design, and we are having out here summarize with pivot table. That means this table we can use in order to create another table that is called pivot table. In the next video, we are going to start a series on pivot table and pivot chart. So if you select on this, it is going to allow us to create a pivot table. So I can go for existing worksheet and I can say, or we can say go for new worksheet, and this pivot table is ready for you. So we will talk about the pivot table in the next video. So at this moment, now, again, if you wanted to get back your original data, how it was. So what we can do is we can select the design, and from the design, we are having convert to range. Once you convert to range, if you click on the convert to range, your entire data will become from the table, it will become the normal set a value in your worksheet. So it is asking, do you want to convert the table into normal range? If I say yes, then your normal values will be available over there. But the calculated values would be available to you. Here, you cannot change the value. If you wanted to change, you have to apply another formula. So that formula was applicable. That formula was the subtotal formula, right? So that's all for the day. I hope you must have learned the new concept of table inside your Excel worksheet. So if you like the video, click on like button and leave your valuable comment for us. Thank you very much for watching this particular video.